Hi, everybody. I have just going to pop on and talk to you briefly about why every one of us suffers from parent insecurity, and you're not alone. If you feel insecure as a parent, maybe not all the time, but often, join the club. So I am just going to take a pause here because I want to make sure that okay. I was going to see if you guys could ask me questions, but I didn't push that button. Okay, so I'm just going to take some time and talk to you about parent insecurity. Do you remember the moment that you brought your child home? You brought that completely vulnerable being into your home, and your life completely changed forever. What did you feel? What did you feel in that very moment? I felt profoundly insecure, profoundly unsure. I was like, are you kidding? You're going to let me be responsible for this child? Nobody was calling me that night. Nobody was checking on me or my husband. We were like, this is our job now for the rest of our life. And then I had 3 more. And I started getting more confident, right? I would go through a phase, I'd get more confident. I would think, okay, I got this. And then something would happen. The most minute thing would happen. I'd be like, oh, again. So why? Why do we feel insecure as parents? And why is it such a horrible feeling? I think it's because that's where we need to focus our attention. We want to be the best parent we can be. Of course we do. We are programmed from the beginning of time to raise healthy, functional, happy beings, right? And suddenly we have this responsibility to do this job, but we have no training, or we think we have no training. We haven't gone to school. We haven't taken any courses. Maybe we took Lamaze. We learned how to breathe during labor, but we don't really know what we're doing. We're learning on the job. We're learning trial by fire. That creates some insecurity. So that's natural. That's normal. And what's also natural and normal is to be triggered by your child, is to have your buttons pushed and to feel angry, sad, frustrated, hopeless, helpless, disconnected. That's normal also. Why? It's normal because that's how we become the best version of who we want to be as a parent, but also as a human being. When we're challenged in a relationship, we're being asked a question. What are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about how you feel? So we have 2 choices. I'm sure there's other choices, but I'm going to break it down to 2 choices. One choice is to say to your child, stop doing that behavior because it's making me upset. The other choice is to say, okay, why am I upset? Why am I upset? Well, of course you're upset because your child's kicking you. You're upset because your child's lying to you. You're upset because your child's doing this or that. Of course, I get it. I get it. But really, why are you upset? Because when you feel good about yourself, when you feel secure, you can handle anything, right? You really can handle anything. But when your child is challenging you in a certain way, she or he is triggering something inside of you that actually needs your attention. And that's how we grow. That's how we move from insecurity to security, from feeling unconfident to confidence, from feeling incompetent to competence, from feeling like we're not in charge to leadership. It's when we move towards those things in us that are getting activated. So we have to get to know ourselves, right? When our child comes, we have this baby comes into our life, And before it was just the two of us, or just the one of us. And suddenly we have this being that we have to bathe, feed, care for, keep safe, don't break. We are insecure. We don't know what we're doing, but we can't run away from it, can we? We can't go anywhere. We have to stay put. Those are two words that are incredibly important. We stay put. We stay engaged. We can't run away. We can't leave our child there to take care of him or herself. We have to stay engaged. And when we stay engaged, we start to grow. We start to become more confident, more competent, and less insecure, and more secure internally, because we realize, oh, I can do this. But what we're also doing is we're facing our fears. Like, our children came into our life, and suddenly we became filled with these fears, right? The fear of responsibility, the fear of breaking, the fear of hurting, the fear of not doing a good job, the fear that you're not a good enough parent, the fear that you're doing it wrong. But when you stay put in the relationship with your child and with what's going on internally, you start to become resilient. You start to become more accessible to what's actually going on internally. You start to have a relationship with your fears. And when you start to have a relationship with your fears, the fears start to go away because you understand them. You suddenly know that this baby you can hold, you're not going to drop, right? You know that you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and you're going to feed this newborn. You know you're going to show up for your child. And that same ability to show up for your child, you have to actually do that for yourself tandemly at the same time. You don't skip over what's going on internally to give your child all this unconditional love and attention when you're not willing to do that or unable to do that for yourself. So the beauty of parenting is that two things are going on at once. You are loving and parenting your child while you're loving and parenting yourself. You don't have to have it figured out. You just have to stay engaged. You have to stay engaged with what's really going on. So it's getting dark. I'm going to turn on this light right here, which I should have done a second ago. Is that better? Yeah, a little bit better. So I'm just saying to you that if you feel insecure, join the club. If you feel unsure, join the club. No matter what's going on, no matter what stage you are in with your child, whether it's a newborn or your child's going off to college, or your child's getting married, or even having their first child, it's going to cause feeling in you. It is you turning towards that feeling and having a relationship with that feeling is how you move into knowing yourself and how you move into competence and confidence. It's when you avoid and evade and don't want to deal with what's actually happening inside that creates more insecurity. So our children, from the moment they're born, do something. It's a hugely important lesson. And we sort of forget about it because it happens and we go automatically engage. But they cry. They cry. And they cry. And they cry. And there's nobody else out there who's going to respond to their crying except their parent. And when we respond, even though that crying, I remember it so well. Oh my gosh. Oh, what am I supposed to do? He's crying. I had 3 boys and then a girl, but he's crying, she's crying. What am I going to do? But I had to do those 2 words. I had to stay put. So I had to stay put with my child and had to stay put with the feelings that my child was triggering in me. And then over time, they became less alarming. They became normal. My ability to tolerate more intense feeling became normal. And the more the more access I had to these feelings, the more I was able to tolerate my feelings, the more available I was to my child. So parent insecurity is like a inner red flag saying, pay attention, go towards that feeling. And that's what parenting is about. Parenting is about the parent experience. What's really going on? What are the roadblocks that are getting in the way? What's going on internally? That's the rich stuff. That's where I want you to focus your attention. Okay, because that's how you're going to be the parent that you want to be, but also the parent your child needs you to be, but also the human being that you're meant to be. Fearless. You become fearless when you stay put, when you feel your feelings, when you understand where the feelings come from. So, okay, so I'm having, I hope that was a little bit helpful. It was helpful. I'm having, I'm giving three free webinars. They're coming up November 25, 27, and 29 at 8 p.m. If you sign, the reason I'm doing 3 is because I know how busy you guys are. And I want to catch you one of those nights. And if you sign up, you get access to all three webinars, which will all be different for the week. So you can watch them and listen to them anytime you want. So if you're interested, I'd love to meet you. I'd love to answer your questions. And I'd love to teach you more about parenting you, which is basically saying that parenting is about you. It's about you. Okay, thanks for listening, and I will see you soon. Bye.